What if everything you were told about fat loss was completely backwards? What if the reason you're exhausted after meals, waking up foggy, carrying extra weight around your stomach, and feeling like your body is working against you has nothing to do with willpower or laziness, and everything to do with one hidden hormonal problem that your doctor probably never even mentioned? I'm talking about insulin resistance, and if you've been struggling with your weight, your energy, your sleep, or your mood, there's a very real chance this is the root cause. I know because I lived it. I was 23 years old, obese, mentally exhausted, physically inflamed, dealing with erectile dysfunction, high blood pressure, and crushing fatigue after every single meal. I sat in my doctor's office and described every symptom in detail, and he looked at me like I was making it up. He offered me pills, medications for blood pressure, medications for blood sugar, medications for ED. He never once asked me what I was eating, how often I was eating, or what time I stopped eating at night. He gaslit me, and I left that office feeling more hopeless than when I walked in. But here's what changed everything. I stopped waiting for someone to hand me the answer and started digging for it myself. What I discovered over the next few months completely transformed my body, my health, and my entire understanding of how metabolism actually works. I went from 34% body fat to single-digit body fat. I lost 80 pounds of fat. My blood pressure normalized. My inflammation vanished. My energy came back stronger than I ever remembered having it. And I've kept every single one of those results for 18 years. Not because I have incredible discipline or some expensive regimen, but because I made 5 very specific shifts that tackled the real problem at its root. These weren't complicated changes. Most of them cost absolutely nothing. And once I understood the science behind why they worked, I never had to fight myself to stay consistent again. So let me walk you through each one, because if you're struggling right now, what I'm about to share could genuinely save your life the way it saved mine. The first shift I made sounds almost too simple, but it was the single most powerful change I ever implemented, and it's one that almost nobody talks about. I stopped snacking. That's it. No more reaching for almonds between meals, no more protein shakes mid-afternoon, no more handful of berries or kombucha to keep my metabolism going. I used to believe that eating frequently throughout the day was the healthy, smart thing to do. I thought I was being disciplined by snacking on quote-unquote healthy foods. What I didn't understand was that every single bite of food, regardless of how healthy it is, triggers an insulin response in your body. Almonds, nuts, seeds, protein shakes, even a small piece of fruit, they all spike insulin. And if you're eating 17 times a day like I was, your insulin levels are elevated almost around the clock. When insulin is constantly elevated, your body cannot access your fat stores for energy. It is physically locked out of fat-burning mode. You become what's called a sugar burner, and your metabolism never gets the rest it desperately needs to recalibrate. When I cut out snacking and moved to just 2 or 3 full meals a day, the change was immediate and almost shocking. Within days, my energy levels stabilized in a way they never had before. I stopped getting that mid-afternoon crash that had me reaching for something sweet just to function. My digestive issues, the bloating, the gas, the unpredictable stomach problems I dealt with for years, they started clearing up almost overnight. My sleep improved. My mental clarity improved. And for the first time in years, I started feeling what it actually meant to be a fat burner instead of a sugar burner. See, when you give your body long enough gaps between meals without any food interrupting the process, insulin drops, and your body finally gets permission to dip into your fat stores for fuel. That's where real, lasting energy comes from. Not from a snack, not from a protein bar. From your own stored fat, which your body has been sitting on for years just waiting for the chance to burn. The second shift I made was stopping all food at least 3 hours before bed, and this one accelerated my results faster than almost anything else I tried. Here's something that most people simply don't know. After the sun goes down, your body's insulin sensitivity drops by 30 to 50%. That means the exact same meal you eat at noon will spike your blood sugar significantly higher if you eat it at 10 at night. Your body is biologically less equipped to handle food in the evening hours, and when insulin spikes at night, it shuts off one of the most powerful fat-burning, anti-aging, muscle-building hormones in your entire body, which is human growth hormone. People pay thousands of dollars a month to get this hormone injected by doctors because of how dramatically it improves body composition and vitality. But you can stimulate it naturally, for free, simply by closing your kitchen a few hours before bed and giving your body the overnight fasting window it was designed to have. Before I made this change, I was eating dinner at 9 or 10 at night, sometimes snacking even later than that, and then wondering why I woke up every morning still exhausted, puffy in the face, hungry within an hour of getting up, and with a stiff lower back and achy joints. My doctor never once thought to ask about my eating schedule. But the moment I pushed my last meal to at least 3 hours before sleep, everything shifted. My morning blood sugar levels dropped noticeably. My deep sleep increased, which matters enormously because deep sleep and REM sleep are actually when your body burns more fat and more calories than during most forms of exercise. My inflammation dropped. I stopped waking up starving. And I started noticing within just the first week that my stomach looked leaner in the mirror each morning. If you go to bed at 11, close the kitchen by 8. Give your body a clear runway into fat burning mode and let it do the work while you sleep. The third shift I adopted is what I consider the highest leverage, lowest effort habit I've ever built, and it requires zero equipment, zero gym membership, and barely any extra time in your day. I started walking for 10 to 20 minutes after every meal, and particularly after dinner, which was my biggest meal. When you walk after eating, something remarkable happens inside your muscles. Your muscle tissue acts like a sponge, absorbing the glucose that just entered your bloodstream from that meal, and it does this without requiring insulin to do the job. That means your pancreas doesn't have to produce nearly as much insulin to clear the sugar from your blood, which means a lower insulin spike, better insulin sensitivity over time, and no post-meal energy crash dragging you toward the couch or the snack cupboard an hour later. Studies have shown that a short walk after eating can lower your glucose and insulin response from that meal by up to 30%. Beyond the blood sugar benefits, that post-meal walk also pulls fat out of your liver, reduces systemic inflammation, improves your digestion dramatically, and helps regulate your appetite for the rest of the day. I know life gets busy, and not every meal allows for a 20-minute walk. But here's the rule I want you to hold on to. After your biggest meal of the day, no matter what, go for a walk. Even 10 minutes makes a measurable difference. You don't need to run. You don't need to break a sweat. A calm, steady walk through your neighborhood is enough to fundamentally change how your body responds to every meal. This is one of those habits where the simplicity of it almost makes you doubt how powerful it is. But once you start doing it consistently, the difference in how you feel within 30 minutes of eating will convince you faster than any graph or study ever could. The fourth shift was something I was honestly hesitant about at first, but it became what I can only describe as a full metabolic reset. Once a week, I implemented a 24-hour fast, not a juice fast, not a modified fast, but a true water-only fast with black coffee, plain tea, and unflavored electrolytes for a full 24 hours. I would finish dinner on Sunday evening and not eat again until Monday evening. What happens inside your body during that 24-hour window is extraordinary. Your insulin drops to its lowest point of the entire week, giving your system a complete break from the hormonal stress of digestion and blood sugar management. Your body activates a deep cellular cleaning process called autophagy, where it literally begins breaking down and recycling damaged, dysfunctional cells and replacing them with healthier, more efficient ones. If you have insulin resistance, your mitochondria, the energy-producing organelles inside every cell, are often damaged and working poorly. Autophagy repairs them or destroys and replaces them entirely, which means more energy, better fat burning, and less inflammation at the cellular level. And then there's the growth hormone effect, which honestly stopped me in my tracks when I first read about it. Research shows that a 24-hour fast produces a 2,000% increase in human growth hormone in men and a 3,100% increase in women. That is not a typo. This is the same hormone that fitness enthusiasts and anti-aging clinics spend enormous amounts of money trying to elevate artificially. One day of fasting per week triggers a natural flood of it that no supplement can replicate. Add this fourth shift once you've built a rhythm with the first three, and you will experience a level of fat loss, mental clarity, and physical energy that makes everything else you've tried feel like it was working in slow motion. The fifth and final shift I added once my body had already begun healing was sprinting. And I want to be very clear that I'm not talking about hour-long cardio sessions or grueling gym workouts. I'm talking about 20 seconds. 20 seconds of all-out, maximum effort sprinting, as if something is chasing you and your life depends on it, followed by 90 seconds of complete rest. That is one round. You do 3 rounds of that twice a week, and you are done. What those 60 total seconds of intense effort do to your hormones, your metabolism, and your cellular health is almost unbelievable. A single 20-second sprint can raise human growth hormone by up to 450% and keep it elevated for hours. It dramatically increases insulin sensitivity. It activates a process called mitochondrial biogenesis, which is the creation of brand new mitochondria inside your cells. Remember those battery packs we talked about? You are literally building more of them with each sprint session, which means your body becomes more efficient at producing energy and burning calories even when you're sitting completely still. Sprinting also attacks visceral fat, which is the dangerous fat that wraps around your organs and is strongly linked to heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and metabolic dysfunction. It balances cortisol, your stress hormone, and has a profound positive effect on mood, focus, and drive. If sprinting isn't possible for you right now because of knee problems, a bad back, or any other physical limitation, you can get the exact same results on a stationary bike, in a swimming pool, or on a rowing machine. The machine doesn't matter. The intensity does. Give everything you have for 20 seconds, rest completely for 90, and repeat 3 times. Do that twice a week, consistently, and you will feel your body transforming in ways that hours of slow cardio never produced. Here's the bigger truth that ties all 5 of these shifts together, and it's something that completely changed the way I think about health and weight. My doctor spent years telling me I needed to lose weight in order to get healthy, but that is exactly backwards. You don't lose weight to get healthy. You get healthy to lose weight. These 5 shifts don't target fat directly. They target inflammation. They correct your hormones. They restore your insulin sensitivity. They repair your metabolism from the inside out. and the fat loss happens as a natural side effect of a body that is finally functioning the way it was designed to. You never had a weight problem. What you have is a weight symptom, and the real cause underneath it is hormonal imbalance and chronic inflammation driven by habits that nobody ever told you were doing damage. The beautiful thing about everything I've shared is that none of it requires money. None of it requires a gym. None of it requires willpower in the painful, white-knuckled sense. When you understand why something works, consistency becomes easy because the results come quickly and they're undeniable. Start with the first shift. Stop snacking between meals. Master that for a week. Then add the second shift. Then the third. Build gradually, one change at a time. Because the biggest mistake people make when trying to fix insulin resistance is overwhelming themselves by doing everything at once and burning out within 2 weeks. Momentum beats perfection every single time. Small, consistent wins compound into complete transformation, and that transformation is absolutely within reach for you, regardless of how broken or stuck your metabolism may feel right now. Insulin resistance is not a life sentence. It is a signal from your body that the timing of your habits and the state of your hormones need correction. And now you have exactly what you need to make that correction starting today.